So the Sun prints the Naked Harry pictures, the only British paper to defy the palace. Why did they do it, and was it worth it? Breakingviews assistant editor Robert Cole joins me. I know your piece, Robert, is about something bigger, but is it worth it them doing this?
I think it's about the only really important part of this story. Let's face it, there is no real issue here about media ethics. You know,
which is why they printed them. Right,
and that's why there's no real issue really about.
So why hasn't no one else printed them?
Well, because they're scared of Leveson and because they're scared of the royal factory. No, I don't think so. Because they're wrong to be worried about that. Look, a 27-year-old soldier stands up at a pool party without his clothes on. This happens all the time. And actually, you know, ahead of another tour to Afghanistan, who can blame him? But more importantly than that, he did this in front of, what, 30 people? You know, that's public, right? And you can spray the pictures around the world. There is no issue about invasion of privacy. There is no issue here about taste, even, really. Yeah. This is an issue for me about the web, and that is the commercial. That is the real. You know, this story is not terribly interesting. What is, as a story, what is interesting is the tacit admission from the Sun on its front page, which says these are the pictures everyone has seen.
Yeah.
So I'm a newspaper editor. How on earth can I publish a story like that?
Okay.
You know. Okay. And the reason it has published them is because it feels it has to catch up with the story. It has no control.
Well, no. I actually beg to differ. The reason it publishes them is because they have a point to make. And I take my hat off to them personally. They're making the point, and no one else is making that point.
What is that point?
Well, the point is they don't want their hands tied by the palace over this. And why should they have their hands tied by the palace over this?
To be honest, I haven't spoken to the palace, but I don't think the palace has tied their hands at all. The way that I read their statement is...
So why is no other newspaper in this country publishing these photographs?
Please don't publish these photographs, it says, you know. But if you do... And the palace would be mad to come back and do anything else. As I say, this man put himself in front of the public, took his clothes off in public. There is no issue. If somebody asked me, would I like pictures of myself printed in a newspaper, I'd say no thanks. But it doesn't mean I'm going to sue you or think that there's an enormous issue.
All right, so back to this, the reason for your piece, which is this commercial problem facing News Corp newspapers, and let's face it, every newspaper.
Yeah.
The web.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the oldest issue in the world, but or it's a very well-worn issue, and it's an issue that everybody faces. But that is the reason why I think that this story has some interest, because it shines a light really closely on this central issue. And you've got to remember that this is a newspaper, one of the leading assets in a part of News Corp which is going to be floated off, which is going to be demerged, which is going to have to stand on its own 2 feet, which is going to have to justify itself on commercial grounds. You know, we had Elizabeth Murdoch.
Did you hear that? Last night?
I've seen the reports, and I think her comment is something on the lines of, you know, profit without purpose is worthless or something.
And it's terribly underreported.
My wondering is whether the Sun can either make a profit because of its the web competition, or if all it can do is print these 3-day-old stories, whether it has any real purpose.
I don't think they're printing these photos because they expect people to buy the paper to see them.
Of course they do.
Of course they're not. Everyone's seen the photos.
Well, that's why
they just printed this because they want to make a point.
Rubbish. They want to print because they want to print salacious pictures of a bloke who's done something that every bloke,
yesterday's pictures of
soldier has done since the dawn of time.
Yesterday's pictures of their own reporter and the intern are better.
I think we're going to have to disagree on this one, aren't we?
Okay, Robert, let's stop there. Robert Cole, thanks very much indeed. For more financial insight, watch our US Breakingviews show every day, 12:30 Eastern, 17:30 BST. I'm Axel Throvel, this is Reuters.